Hey, this is Andy Jenkins, and welcome to the podcast. I'm up here at the Hilltop in my office. It seems like I said this a couple weeks ago. I record this from a different location every single time because sometimes I'm in the office, sometimes I'm in the kitchen. I've done this in the tiny house, but right now I'm in the office with. This is my new friend, and I mean new because I've known you. This is Carol Peters for how long?
I think 3 weeks.
About 3 weeks. Okay, so this episode is going to be part of the Coaches series, and the whole argument behind the Coaches series, argument sounds contentious. The whole idea behind the Coaches series is just periodically, sporadically drop in some great people who really have an expertise in a unique area of life. You know, you really wouldn't think about, when I was in high school, I wrestled, you would not think about going out on the mat, even though you're responsible. You do you. If anybody loses, yeah, it's like their fault. You can't blame it on the team, blame it on the ref. But you wouldn't think about going out there without a coach. So often, life really could be the same way, where we just look back and see there are people who are experts in fitness, in finance, family, your field, what you do full time, your career, faith, even relationships with friends. Fun. Find people who really have that as their unique wheelhouse and know how to lead you into that. So I brought my friend Carol in today. He is a life coach all the way from Kenya, but ironically he lives in my hometown where I grew up, way over on the other side of town in Center Point, and we met in a really strange way. So Carol, thank you for coming to my house, and let's tell them this first of all, like how in the world, because this is a bizarre story.
Thank you for having me, Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome, man. Okay, so I got a strange call or strange message from you weeks ago, and let's just you pick up the story.
Yeah.
Because you found me, I didn't find you.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So I went to the thrift store.
Thrift store.
I went to a thrift store in Center Point on Springville Road. I was looking kind of to get something to read. And guess what I bumped into? I bumped into a workbook. And my mind was like, I think workbooks are much better than books because whereas books have been written with instructions, workbook gives me an opportunity to write my own stuff inside.
To fill in the gaps.
To fill in the gaps. So I found this workbook and I head home. I was super excited, and in this workbook I find a link. And this led me to a site where this guy is talking about helping people who are stuck from where they are to a place where they want to be. And I told myself, why not? And then I tried it out. I logged in, it was free, and I was like, are you for real?
So this is the book you got at the thrift store.
Yeah.
In the beginning of it has the page on the front page that says, here's a website.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the website.
Mm-hmm.
The video course is free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you log in for the video course.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and then I find an amazing training that is on the other side of this link, and not only did I go through half of it, I called a friend of mine back in Kenya who we've been walking this journey of coaching and leadership development. I told him,
what's the guy's name?
Philip.
Philip has sent me a message. I've got to get a Zoom call with Philip.
Wow.
But okay, so go ahead. So you reach out to Philip.
I reached out to Philip. I told Philip, hey, can you look at this? And Philip spends a whole night. He didn't sleep that day when I gave him the link. So Philip goes through. Philip is very good in doing courses, crash courses. So Philip goes and does this course within a night. And the next time I'm waking up, Philip is telling me, does this guy know his value?
I'm looking for Philip right now. See if I can find him. I mean, I know I've got him in here, but
yeah.
Anyway, keep on.
So Philip is like, does this guy know his value? This thing is phenomenal. I mean, you should see whatever he texts me. It's like, this is just beyond amazing. And I go ahead and log in and finish the course, and Philip does the course, and we were like, we need to find this guy. And one of the most interesting thing for me was that since I came to Alabama, I've not met people who are in the journey of developing people.
Not on the journey of developing people?
In the Christian way.
Okay, in the Christian way. Okay.
Yeah. So you were the first person.
So you're talking about like Christian life coaches.
Christian life
so
coaches.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, because most of the guys I meet that are Christian, they tend to be pastors.
Yeah.
I have one friend, his name is Sean. He's got a great organization, Courage to Lead, and he really talks a lot about coaching, and he coaches pastors and business leaders. Mm-hmm. But you're right, like he's the only one that I've known of until you.
Yeah.
So most of them tend to just kind of, we'll just do it in the church, and not necessarily, and they link it down just to that faith element. They don't necessarily make the leap that it should.
Yeah.
The whole Christian worldview should affect your, not just your faith, but also your fitness, your finance, your family, the field that you work, friends, how you relate, even fun. Like these are all faith issues. Like they're all connected. You don't do your faith in isolation.
That's right.
You do it in totality of everything.
Mm-hmm. And so when I met your material, I had a glimpse of really what I was looking for. And the thing was, I believe, I'm coming from a place that I believe that everything is interrelated to faith. And my grounding is Christianity because my first training was to be a Christian coach. So I'm a Christian coach. So I've been looking for Christian content, Christian development.
Okay.
Until I met your stuff, and I was like, this is unique because I know of a lot of coaches that I know their program, I've even gone to their program, but the reason why I don't like their program is because they're not grounded on Christ. And your teaching was grounded on Christ.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book that you found at the thrift store was the advanced book.
Yeah.
Okay, and what he's referring to is all of that content. It's kind of funny because last night when you were telling that story, when we were over at Randy's house, you were saying, I was in the thrift store looking for rare books. And we're like, rare or cheap, throwaway. And so I was kind of like, mine's a rare book, but it was the advanced book, and you get into the front of it, and it does say, okay, here is the website. And I would say anybody that's listening right now, if you want to take those courses, you can go down. Advance is an event that I co-founded, co-led twice a year. We did about 10 of those events, and it was really this interesting journey for me because it began as, fundamentally, we were all doing a home-based business, and it began as an event to help men understand that business and really do business. And more over time, in fact, I can tell you when it happened, between event number 3 and event number 4, it shifted because I had shifted. And I still believed the same things, but I realized that my purpose, my call was not to teach people how to build that home-based business. It was really to grow in their knowledge of grace. It was to become emotionally whole. It was to identify their purpose. It was to be able to practically live out their faith. And so that was when we developed the ladder, or I developed it and really started sketching it out in that release of Advance 4.0. And so the whole Advance was a whole journey for me. And by the time you got it, you were getting what was, I think the recording of Advance 6 is what you got. Mm-hmm. And by then we had developed that ladder and had that content with the bridge and everything. Like I think in that video series, and people that are listening, go to the show notes and you can get that video series absolutely free. I'll put the link down there below. And like we actually have the props where I have dominoes on the floor, like they're 8 feet tall, and I've got a bridge that, we build there on the floor, and people write down action steps on the planks of wood. And there are all these other images, that are the huge rubber bands, and all of the props are all in that video series. It was really a journey for me figuring all of that out, and has become, I'm still developing the material. Here's the book right here that you can hear it if you're listening on the microphone. Like this is the write-up of all of the material with all the graphics and all the slides. Anyway.
Wow.
I got this for you though. Like if so this came out this year. What I'm giving him is this. There's this hardback. It's like a moleskin with a pocket in the back, and it's hardback. Like you can see, it's a book. You can download it free. I'll put the show notes below with that link where you can get. That's kind of the book you got, isn't it?
That's
very
right.
similar to it, but that's a hardback version.
It's a hardback, and this looks smaller.
Yeah, it is a little tidier.
Yeah, it's
for sure. But that's the one where you got the calendar and you can start planning every single day, like how to manage all of life. Mm-hmm. And so that is the planner. We got some thunder going on in the background.
Wow.
But let's keep on talking. So you're a Christian life coach. Tell me about that and tell us about your area of specialty.
My area of specialty is the balance. The Christian balance.
The balance.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the reason why I found it so interesting when we spoke about the ULA opportunity.
Yeah.
Because from my Christian coaching, we start from the wheel of life.
Okay.
So the wheel of life is almost like a representation of all the 7 thematic areas in ULA.
Yeah.
Where you talk about family, you talk about your faith, you talk about your finances, you talk about your fitness in a different way.
Right.
So really, we believe that you have to grow whole for you to become whatever God has designed inside of you. So everything that we do in Christian coaching is about taking you to the image of Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Praying with you, giving you thought-provoking questions that will help you refine your thinking and to help you redesign your way back to Christ. That's why I when I found the ULA stuff that you introduced me to, I found this amazing because now, not only can we allow people to purposely, intentionally live every single day reflecting on these thematic areas, I don't have the burden to take you through this area in every single season.
Right.
Yeah.
So the way we met was, let me fill in the gaps on that. I think you reached out via Facebook, and then found the way into our Facebook group. Mm-hmm. Beth and I have that group. We call it the Hilltop Hangout. It is because our house is called the Hilltop, so that's kind of the online version where we're really sharing some principles. Just about 5-6 days a week. We don't really do anything in there on Sunday. We take a pause and just rest. But you dropped into that group and then hopped over on a link via Calendly that we have in that group, scheduled a one-on-one. So we met and talked about kind of this whole story, because you're wanting to write a book.
Yeah. I talked about I was telling about my intention for me to work with you to write a book that is largely related to the different gifts, MBTI gifts, and how they progress on their journey on your ladder.
Okay. Yeah. On the ladder is the one. It's in the advanced book. It starts with the what, and then the how, the why, the who, and then the you is the ladder, and you progressively get higher and deeper as you go through on that journey. And I'm kind of filling that in for people who are listening, going, all right, what's the ladder and how does that work? Again, all kinds of links down in the show notes for you to get that information. But yeah, go ahead. So you're wanting to go farther on that.
Yeah, I'm wanting to go further because for every single, one thing that I came to learn when I was going through this journey in the ladder is I found where I got stuck.
Yeah.
And I've worked with several of my clients who have, I'm an expert in psychometry, the MBTI personality. And I've seen that different personalities that get stuck in different levels. There are certain levels, like for me, the how, I really get so well. The why, very crystal clear. The who, very clear. But the how,
the implementation,
that's where I get stuck.
Time management, life management.
That's right. That's where I get stuck.
What personality type is that?
ENTP.
But that is the person. ENTP gets stuck at. So people that are listening to the Myers-Briggs, the ENTP gets stuck at the how.
At the how.
Okay, the implementation. Why? What is an ENTP?
That's
extrovert,
extroverted, intuitive.
Okay.
Thinking, perceiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they get stuck with implementation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my revelation was, not only did I appreciate the way Andy did this, how would I call it? The way you made it so clear in terms of the diagram and explanation. The illustration was very clear. But in my mind, I could also see how different personalities get stuck at different levels. There are some personalities that really can't figure out what, but they're very good in how.
Well, I mean, but it makes sense because if you know, I guess if you know your personality, part of self-leadership is really self-awareness.
Yeah.
And so if you know who you are, and no shame in that. I mean, one of the phrases we have in the book is where you are isn't who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the location.
Yeah.
And we all have different strengths, and we all have different, well, let's call them
Gifts.
well, the strengths, but we also have these different weaknesses,
Mm-hmm.
that we're not strong, and they're different. And I think in some element, I mean, you can look in the Bible and find out that that's actually how it is designed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Romans 12 says that, like, you can't say, because Paul uses the analogy of a body. He says the hand can't say to the foot, I don't need you.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the hand is great at certain things, but horrible at other things that the foot excels at. I think it's designed like that by the Creator so that we would need each other. I'm going to be strong where you're weak. You're going to be weak where someone else is strong. They're going to be strong. Like and you're going to be strong in areas where I don't have that they don't have. So we interdependently need each other in some sense. And if you're aware of that, it really shows you how to defer to other people. Mm-hmm. And it also shows you, hey, here's where I might tend to get stuck, so I can go ahead and anticipate that and make a provision around it or over it or through it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sure. It makes a lot of sense because from where I'm sitting, I see a place where we get to a level of interdependence. But how do we get to a place where we can depend on each other? It can only come when we know exactly our strengths and we know other people's strengths. And we can allow people to use their strength to help us.
Right.
Yeah. But that place will not happen if, first of all, we don't know our strengths. Secondly, if we do not know what we are missing. And I believe from the ladder and the engagement that I had with the ladder, I came to realize that these areas where you are teaching are places where naturally I'm not aware of them. Like the places where I get stuck are places where I was totally naturally I'm not inclined to that knowledge.
Well, I think you don't initially know your own blind spots.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they're blind spots. Everybody thinks, oh, I know my blind spots. Well, if you did, they wouldn't be blind spots. By very definition, you don't know them.
Yeah.
Because once you see them, you're no longer blind to them.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes sense how you're saying that. Okay, so you're saying, again, certain personality types get stuck in certain areas, but if we know those areas, then we can
invite people.
Build a team, overcome that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? What else are you seeing in that?
What I see is we can take advantage of that which we already have naturally, and we can spread that as love, as our way of service. So those who are good in how, they can help others define how.
Yeah. People who are good on that second rung of the ladder is what he's.
Yeah.
I'm filling in gaps because I think some of the people that are listening, they may not necessarily know the analogy and terminology of what we're getting at. With the advance basically says that first of all you need to know what your dream is, and you probably have a dream in all the different core areas of life. So your dream's not just to, for instance, right now you and I are working on building a business. That's not the only dream. I've got some dreams in finance. I've got some dreams in my health. I'm working on a great marriage, some dreams with my kids. So you probably have a dream in each area of life. You've got to identify what that is. First rung of the ladder. Second rung is you've really got to identify how do I implement that. If you don't know what, then there's no way you can do how. But you can't do how unless you know the what. And still, somebody who knows how to implement it's going to get farther than somebody who doesn't. And then next rung of the ladder is the why, the reason, the drive, that's behind that. What is the motivating factor? And sometimes the why can shift. It may be different for every single dream that you have. It probably is. I think it's a little bit limited to say that you have one why. You may have a whole bag of them. There may be multiple reasons for pursuing a dream. And then after that, we talk about the importance of people. Who is the fourth rung. With each of these, you get, I think it's just like going up a ladder up the side of a house. Simultaneously, you go up the ladder. It seems a little scarier the higher you get, but that's also where the biggest payoff is. You turn and look back and you go, man, it seems so much higher from looking up to down than it was from down to up. But that who, those relationships, incredibly important. And then finally, the highest is you got to work on yourself, the you. Mm-hmm. So you were talking about the implementation again, getting stuck.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a good thing for us to know exactly who we are inside, how our design functions.
Yeah.
What are the needs that our design is going to massively need? So when you walk from that point, then we can help ourselves get unstuck.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many folks coming round and round in the same level of the hierarchy of the steps that we talked about. If you find out, you realize that some people are very good in certain areas. There's some people who are very good in terms of finding their motivation. There's some folks who are very good in like, for example, the people with the connector personality.
Uh-huh.
They're very good in bringing people together, working together. But they would come together, but they don't know the what. They're stuck with the what. So this training was super amazing, and I still believe is super amazing. And I don't know what it would look like if I did not have this access to your training, because the kind of shift it gave me was the realization of the places where I get stuck more often. Like this strategy thing, I think is one major thing that I really need to get clarity on, the issue of strategy.
Yeah.
How do I get strategy? How do I schedule my journey forward? What do I need to do?
Right.
Yeah. I can have all the reasons of what I need to do. I know why I need to do it. I know who I need to work with it. And I'm still stuck on this strategy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I mean, I think the good thing as we kind of wrap up is that you don't have to figure that on your own. You figure out where your strong points are. You figure out where your weak points are. You align yourself with other people who have different strengths and different weaknesses than you. And then in some sense, there becomes not this codependence, but this interdependence, where you really celebrate those differences and uniquenesses and lean fully into those. And so, like, I know you're over here right now in part to record this, but also because you and Beth are going to make some calls related to a business opportunity that we've got and some things we're doing where, you're learning from her, but then simultaneously, I mean, you've brought some incredible insights to the table for us of things we didn't know that we haven't seen. And I think that's really how it's all designed to work, And so I think part of the reason to have you on today was to, number one, to share that piece of the message, but also let people know it's been this incredible journey for me to see some of the things that have opened up from that material, because I developed that material a really long time ago, worked on it for several years, because I was only picking it up every 6 months for an event we were doing twice a year, and every time I would refine it just a little bit, and then the next time refine it just a little bit more, and then for reasons really out of my control, I was no longer participating in those events.
Wow. And
to see, that material go out there and then still come around full circle. Mm-hmm. There are so many people out there in life who have wondered about, what about this investment I made in this past thing? And what about this opportunity from the past that's gone? Well, the scripture talks about the Lord bringing back all of those things and recalling all of the years the locusts have eaten and restoring all things, and there being this redemption of all things and this making all things new. And so, seeing that story of you has built so much faith in me, because I really believed that that message in that book is really one of my core things, that I'm supposed to teach and supposed to deliver to people. And it got hijacked, and it got derailed for a while. And to see, I really believe, some people will say it was the universe, or it was I really believe it was the Lord's hand, behind all of this, really bringing a dude all the way from Kenya. And I don't know if people picked that up in the story, all the way from Kenya to walk into a thrift store looking for rare books. But he finds, I guess mine was rare because nobody read it, right? Okay, so walks into a thrift store in my hometown, finds the book, and then reaches out. And we had just happened to set those, we used to sell those video courses, but we just happened to set them free because I was no longer doing the events. And so I thought, well, this material is out there and it's great material. Let's don't just leave it behind a paywall or make it to where people can't access it. Let's make it to where people can get it and they can benefit from it. And so to see you and Philip and Ibrahim and some of these other guys that are coming together, that now, we're looking at doing some projects that honestly, I think will, I know people throw this language around a lot, go, oh, that's a world-changing project. I think it will. I mean, the mission of that is to reach and positively impact 1 billion lives in 7 years, part of that movement that we're involved with. And to see, the Lord sovereignly connect people from, Kenya and that little small suburb outside of Birmingham, Alabama is absurd. And when it does that, it just gives rise to your faith. Does that make sense?
That's true.
So let me do this. I'm gonna sign off, and hey, I always sign off, always pray, and so, but I'm gonna let you do it first in Kenyan, and then I'll take it over in English. All and right. I mean, who knows? There might be somebody from Kenya that's. I know there are guys from Kenya that listen now because some of them are connected through Facebook. But I would encourage you, if you're listening, go to the show notes. Get the link to the advanced planner. It's free. Carol's got one here that's hardback, but you can print your own. Yeah, I mean, you can, that's hard. You can bounce off of it, throw it, stack stuff on it. Also, all the video courses there in the show notes are absolutely free. You can get that video course, log in, watch, rewatch as many times as you'd like. There's no upsell there. It's just get in and watch away. That's it. Pray in Kenyan.
All right. Let me pray. Mungu Baba, tunasema asante kwa siku ya leo. Tunasema asante kwa urafiki yenye umetuwezesha tumepata. Mungu Baba, naomba uyalinde maisha ya huyu ndugu wetu pamoja na familia. Ndugu, naomba uwabariki, ulete amani kwa nyumba hii yake. Naomba tena Mungu uniwezeshe mikono zangu. Uniwezeshe Mungu nitumike kama chombo yako, nitumike kujenga jina lako tukufu. Naomba haya kwa jina la Yesu Kristo Mwokozi wetu. Amen.
And here's my prayer. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May He make His face of favor to shine upon you. And may He recall to you, as He has in this case with me, just the past investment of time and energy and sacred space that you've devoted. May you see all of those things, all of the seeds that you've planted that are underneath the ground waiting for their harvest time. May you begin to see the fruition of those even now. Grace and peace. I'll see you again very soon.